Hey guys, welcome back. So in the last video we learned about the scanner object, which can be used to take user input in Java. What we're going to do in this video is extend on that slightly and add two numbers together. But not just add two numbers together, we're also going to get those two numbers from the user input. So first we're going to ask for two numbers for the user to enter, and then we're going to take those two numbers and add them together and output the answer. So let's go ahead and get right into this. Let's start by saying import java.util.scanner, which, remember from our last video, like I said, is our scanner object. We're importing the scanner tools that allow us to take user input. And just one more time, this has to be an uppercase S, just like I said before. Okay, it won't work if it's a lowercase s. So in the main section now, this part of the code that executes when the program runs, in there we're going to create our scanner object. So the type of it is a scanner. So scanner, and then give it a name, whatever you want to call it. You can just say my scanner, that doesn't matter, you can call it whatever you want. And then we're going to say equals new scanner, like that. Put your parentheses on there, and then inside the parentheses we're going to say system.in, and there's an uppercase S on the system. So I explained this all last video, but for the benefit of those people who didn't watch last video and they're just on this video, we're creating a scanner object, so a variable of type scanner, and it's going to be called my scanner in this case, but like I said, you guys can call it whatever you want. And then we're saying it's equal to a new scanner object. So this new keyword creates a new object, and then we're saying the input is going to come from system.in. So anything that's input to the system, okay? Don't worry if you don't understand that part too much now. That's really not that important for you, okay? So just put system.in. So going down, I'm creating some space below, and then just underneath there we can say system.out.println. We're going to output a message to the user, and this message is going to say something along the lines of enter a number or something. So we can just say inside double quotes, enter a number, like that. Enter a number. Okay. And now if I just run that real quick, you'll see that it just outputs enter a number down below. So there. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is take the user's input and store it into a variable. And like we did last video, it's really easy. Just say int, because we're going to take a number, an integer. So int num1. So we'll call it num1 because we're going to take a second number in a minute too. So int num1 equals my scanner, which is our scanner object we created up here, dot next int, like that. Next int. So if I run this now, you'll see that I enter 4. Well, you won't see anything, but what's happened is it's stored the number 4 inside num1. Okay, so take my word for that. So num1 now contains the first number they entered, and we can do exactly the same thing as we did just there, just one more time. So you can either copy and paste that or type it out again. System.out.println. We can say enter the second number. All right, enter the second number. And underneath there, we can say int num2 equals the same thing again, my scanner dot next int, just like that. So this program is going to take two numbers now. And what I'm going to do, you don't have to do this part, or you can if you want to. I'm just going to output the two numbers just so we know that they contain the values we entered, okay? So this is just, we're going to delete this line in a minute, but just so we can see, system.out.println, I'm just going to output num1, like that, and then I can just say add num1, like that, and then I can copy and paste that line below and do the same thing for num2. So num1 and num2, and let's give it a try. So I'm run this program. So you'll see enter a number. It hasn't gone to this part yet because it's still waiting for my input. All right, so I'm going to enter the number 10. Enter the second number. So inside there I'm going to enter 50. Press enter, and we see num1 is 10, num2 is 50. Ignore this here, I didn't put a space between there, so you can see there's no space between there. There's the string, and there's the string also, so just put a space after there if you want to. But like I said, we're getting rid of this line, these lines now anyway. We just did that to see if our input has been registered correctly. So now we have two variables, num1 containing our first number and num2 containing our second number. So all we need to do now is output them. We can just say int sum equals num1 plus num2, just like that. And then let's output that to the user. So system.out.println, and then there let's just put a string sum equals, and I'm putting a space after there so it spaces it from the number. So just put and sum, and let's give this a try. So running this, enter a number, let's enter 15 this time, and in here I'm going to enter 45, and I'm going to see sum equals 60. So we've clearly added those two numbers together. So we can do whatever we want here. So you can do multiply, you can do divide. So one thing I'm going to show you though is if you do divide, all right, you're going to see something happen in a minute. So enter a number. I'm going to enter 50, and there I'm going to enter 12, second number. You'll see the sum is 4. So any of you math geniuses out there will know that 50 divided by 12 is not 4, it's 4.16 or something. So this isn't right. You're going to wonder, why are we getting 4 or not 4.16? And the reason is because we're using an integer type, right? If we wanted to get the actual decimal points on here, we need to use a different data type. And don't worry about that for now. I'm going to explain that in a later video. All you need to know for this video is that if you use an integer data type and the answer is a decimal point, it's going to cut the decimal points off, okay? So if it's 4.5123, it's going to cut it all off and it'll just be 4, all right? So like I said, more on that in the upcoming videos. For now, don't worry about it. But in this video, we've learned how to take user input. So take two numbers and then add them together and output the answer to the user.